Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bay Area Musicians Podcast. I am your host, Matt Gretter, and this is a brand new concept I am trying here today because I am fairly new to this, as you know, and just getting the hang of all of this new software stuff and all this new thing, stepping into a brand new world. But we're giving it a shot. Today on the Bay Area Musicians Podcast, it is the second full-length episode, and this is a very special one because we have the very first of our guest segments. We have a very special guest here today, arguably my longest-running musician friend, I want to say ever since 2010 or so, right? And which all began at a Guitar Center drum-off. He is by far one of the greatest drummers that I have ever come across, and I'm not just saying that because he's one of my greatest friends, but drumming extraordinaire, teching extraordinaire, sound extraordinaire, anything in the book. Everybody, please welcome Mr. Drue Wilson to the show. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, bud? We got this stuff to all to work.
Yeah, we got it all to work. It's a brand new thing, still wrapping my head around it, but we're getting all through it.
I just showed Matt how to use OBS. I'm like, Matt, you can do multi-cameras and stream it live.
Yeah, technology is something I'm still trying to wrap my head around. I'm used to playing things into microphones and all that stuff, being a drummer myself, but as far as how to route everything and just setting sound up all around, that's not my forte. So I'm still I still wrap my head around it. Drue, you do a really good job of really teaching me. It's just
you'll get it.
Yeah, it just takes repetition. That's what it's all about.
Nothing is smoking or blowing up, so I think you're doing good. Okay. And we got both cameras connected.
Yeah, so we're making it work.
But thanks for having me.
All right, thank you so much for coming on.
I wasn't expecting to do an episode today, but
no,
here I am.
Neither was I, but it's all
a little dark now, but it'll work.
Yeah, it's all good. And we have a wonderful fan light here to help us out. So it's all going good. Alrighty, so I think I just wanted to really dive into like how because what this podcast is all about is really exposing all of the great musicians that really are out here and really getting to know how you got started, maybe where your story began, not even music related, but just overall what's your story growing up as a kid or and leading up into how you got into playing drums and just music in general. Like, how did all that start?
Well, it all started in middle school, actually. My dad gave me his copy, not gave it, but he let me borrow his CD copy, if people still remember CDs, compact disc. He gave me his copy of Led Zeppelin 2.
Ooh.
And I remember hearing that and then hearing Moby Dick with John Bonham, and it was all over after that. And then in middle school, because I went to a private middle school in San Francisco due to my learning disabilities. We can talk about that later on. But they had what was called electives. So it was like these special programs, like certain days would be regular class, then you had electives. So they had a percussion class elective.
Oh, cool.
So I wasn't playing drum set, but I was playing percussion. Actually, that's where drumming started. But music started for me in elementary school. Of course, they gave me the kid with the big overbite and braces. They gave me a reed instrument. They made me play the clarinet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I told the band director, I go, I want to play those shiny things over there, which were timbales, and they're like, no, those aren't real instruments. You're playing the clarinet. So that's really where it started, and then I did a little piano here and there and some guitar, but really in middle school, that's where my drumming started.
Oh, cool.
And it hasn't stopped.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty much a very similar thing for me. Right at the beginning of middle school, when I started, it was I first caught the bug towards the end of elementary school that I wanted to be a drummer, but the elementary school did not have a music program, and so I had to wait until junior high till I could join. And I was obsessed with Neil Peart, and so all I was concerned about at that age was getting behind a drum set as quickly as I could. But the middle school did not offer a program that was drum set oriented, but I started off in the beginning concert band where you have all the percussion line, you have the snare drummers, you have the bass drummers, you have the xylophone, glockenspiel, and all of that setup. And it was really good rudimentary training, and I'm really thankful for that. It wasn't until high school when I got into the jazz program when they had the drum set, and it was like, oh yes, I get to finally do a drum set now. That's all I care about. Yes. But fairly similar. Just you want to play a drum set, but it's not readily available at first.
Well, getting on to that, the second year they had elective, it was called Garage Rock Band. There was a drum set.
Oh yes.
One of our teachers, I forgot his name, but he had a drum set, so he left it there for us to play. It's just kick, snare, and hi-hat, but that's where it all started.
Cool. And once you started, or maybe even before, once you got behind the drum kit, and especially once you, particularly when you first heard that Moby Dick with John Bonham and Led Zeppelin, who at least eventually became your beginning influences with beginning influences behind the kit? John Bonham, I'm assuming, is one of them, of course.
Well, it's funny to me because I'm actually adopted. I'm not born here in this country. I'm adopted from South Korea. My parents adopted me and my siblings from South Korea. But my dad and my grandfather, his dad, they played in a Scottish pipe band, the Dunvegan pipe band, and a lot of the old Scottish pipe bands from here to Bay Area. So my dad actually played marching snare drum, and my grandfather played marching bass drum. And I have one of my dad's marching snare drums at home. It's an old Premier, but like, it's so funny that I'm not blood related, but it's like that's also, I think, where it came from. Yeah.
They say family is not always blood related. It's who you love, who you surround yourself with, and mutual connections that they could be friends, or in your parents' case, adopted parents in the beginning, but just that mutual connection that you had through music, especially with your dad, that's how that family was created.
I believe my first drum I ever had, it was one of those kids' Remo floor toms, those round floor toms, like with all the animals on it in different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And then my first kind of drum set I had, I forgot the model, but it was like one of those Yamaha electric kits. It was like a pad. It was like a couple pads, and then it had a foot pedal for the bass drum and then for the hi-hat. And then so I would do that. I'd pretend my dad's snare was my snare drum, and I would play on that. And then I would find whatever. I didn't have sticks, so I ended up using Lincoln logs as sticks or pencils.
Oh wow.
But
what beginning drummer doesn't do that?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of drummers start with pots and pans, but I actually had a physical drum to start with, so.
Yeah. I started pots and pans a little bit. It lasted for a short while until eventually my parents got my very first drum kit from a family friend who just wasn't playing it anymore. He was not a hardcore musician to begin with, but it was just something that he had, and it was just really something to get me started playing the drums, and I just learned how to play really by listening to my favorite records and just trying to mimic what I thought I heard.
Yeah, I play still to this day. I play mostly by ear.
Yeah, same thing.
I do a little bit of reading, but because of my learning disabilities, it's a little hard sometimes for me.
Yeah.
But my parents noticed I was taking an eye for this. So my mom enrolled me into a percussion class here at the San Mateo Rec Center, the one right down the street from you here.
Oh yeah, on Alameda.
Yeah, and we were just on practice pads and stuff. And then that teacher, Elaine, she became my first private teacher, so she would come to my house and stuff. And then I forgot what year it was, but I remember I just saw this huge box underneath the Christmas tree. I mean, I wasn't thinking about getting a drum set, of course. I mean, like, it's not like nowadays where your parents ask you, what do you want? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It was like a surprise. And I just remember my brother and sister were kind of mad. They're like, well, why does he get a big gift? I think I was mad that year because I only got one gift. But it was the biggest gift. And It
Yeah.
was my first drum set. And it was this drum company. I still have it today, too. It's this drum company my parents found on eBay called Summit Drum Company.
Summit Drum Company.
It used to be on Amazon too, but it got me through my first. It's red. It was wrapped. It was 22, 12, 13, 16 chrome snare, 14-inch hi-hats, and a 16-inch crap, which were not real cymbals. I mean, they're beginner cymbals.
Yeah.
They were metal, but not like what we play today. But that's where it started, and then I used that through all middle school. I did a talent show there and performed a drum solo at that middle school and won the talent show. And then that same middle school, we did a Cinco de Mayo party at I forgot where it was in San Francisco, but I took those drums have been with me through my whole career. They're all beat up because I didn't have cases and stuff. But to your other question, at a young age, I really didn't discover a lot of drummers yet because I was young. But mostly I discovered when I got to high school. And in high school, I was in wind ensemble, so symphonic band. I wasn't playing jazz yet because I couldn't read and stuff like that. But the drummer that was in the jazz ensemble in combo was ending up having to leave midway semester. So junior and sophomore and senior years when I joined jazz band.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Cool.
And that blew my mind because like I discovered Buddy Rich and then Art Blakey, Max Roach, all the jazz greats.
Yeah.
And then I realized, like now that I'm older, if I listen back to a lot of and you've heard it in a lot of John Bonham's interviews, he say that. Like if you listen to his tuning of his drums, they're like big band drums. They're big drums tuned super high.
Uh-huh.
And so even though John Bonham's a rock guy, but he was actually influenced from the jazz guys.
Oh, I honestly didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, you learn something new every day, folks.
Because back then, like the common sizes for drum, like today, common size for a bass drum is a 22 or 20. Back then, 24 was standard size. So everybody was playing, well, even though John Bonham played 26. But Buddy Rich played 24. And if you solo some of his drums, if you hear his bass drum, it sounds pretty similar to John Bonham. Just the felt strip wide open.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, I got off a little bit off topic there, but...
No, it's all good. It's a friendly conversation.
Yeah. We
love that. So... those were your jazz influences, and we also know that knowing you over the years that
I got a lot of rock and punk
a
influence.
lot of rock and punk influence. Just to name a couple, what are some of those? Who are some of those influences?
Well, high school also, I had a punk band with some of my friends. Like with our common friend, we have Anthony Martos.
Oh yeah,
great bass player. We'd be in the garage. I'd pretend I'm Taylor Hawkins or Dave Grohl. I would have my drums set up exactly like them and everything. Ringo Starr, Keith Moon, Ginger Baker, Mitch Mitchell from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, John Bonham. I guess John Bonham's not really punk.
No.
Taylor Hawkins, Dave Grohl, all the greats. Too many to list.
Yeah, and you had your jazz background and starting out in the school programs with jazz, and then you also had your rock and roll stuff that you were probably doing on the side and stuff like that.
I was bugging my parents in the garage and our neighbors.
Yeah. When was it that you decided that the current music path that you were on, which we now know today is country music, as well as as well as jazz too. You play jazz pretty regularly as well. When did you realize that was the genre route, if you will, that you wanted to take?
Well, going back to middle school, I think I realized, because I was still learning about Christianity and me becoming a Christian, and like how am I gonna use myself but also give back to God. So, but then my parents told me that no, this is God's gift to you. It's playing drums. So back in middle school, I started playing on the worship team at my local church. And then also we started a youth band, so I was on that band too. So I was playing every Sunday morning and every Thursday night, and also doing the garage band on the side. But yeah, I that's when I really decided I wanted to focus it as a career. Was that because I wanted to give it back? But I mean, all the garage bands were fun and everything like that. But I wasn't like touring or playing festivals or anything. The closest thing to a tour was our senior year in high school. Our jazz band, we went on the tour to Costa Rica, so that was the closest thing to a tour.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But also in high school, junior and senior year, our band program got a recording studio put in, and they had a recording production class.
Oh, yeah?
So I took that, and that was another blink gift that came on, and I'm still doing that today, recording bands and doing live audio for bands and stuff. So it's also it's good for somebody in the band to know about audio.
Yeah, and you were telling me just earlier today that an artist that you're currently with, Sophia Claire, who's an amazing upcoming country artist.
I hope you get to have her on the podcast.
Oh, I definitely hope to, and I aim to. If you're watching Sophia, you're on my radar. But yeah, she's an absolutely amazing artist, and I actually had the pleasure of playing with her before you. We can get into that a little bit later. Mm-hmm. But anyway, though, you were telling me a little earlier today that they were over to highlight your production background and your recording expertise, that they were over at your house, a tiny home studio.
We were recording a secret project.
Ooh.
I can't tell you much about it. It'll be coming out soon.
Okay. We'll be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. But I can't really talk about it because it's still in the works.
So. No problem about that. But
I could tell you about off camera, but I can't tell about it live right now.
Well, you could, but you could, but then you would have to kill everybody who's listening, including myself.
But when Matt talks about a small studio, I mean, I don't know if people can see the room we're in right now. It's smaller than this room. It's about half the size of this room because Matt came over and
I've been there.
If anyone watches Matt's YouTube videos, if you watch Matt's video he did in honor of Taylor Hawkins, that was him playing my Gretsch kit, and that was my tiny studio.
Yeah, just barely out of frame. Like literally, if you just move the camera like just one 32nd of an inch, you would be able to see Drue in the frame. Yeah. That's how small the room was.
But I fit our electric guitar player and Sophia in there, because our band, we don't use any amps, so everyone's direct. So the only live instrument is me. But I was recording drums, but not for the actual take, just for scratch drums, so they had something to go off.
Yeah, so they had something to play over.
I had the drums in my family room. I think I'll try to get a picture of it and make it put it in post or something for that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then me and the bass player in the family room. That was our thing. I had to run my 50-foot drum loom snake, but it worked.
Yeah, but then again, that's also just a testament to your production value and your expertise, that a lot of people can just come to you and you can just make, dare I say, everything happen, because you have much more of a talent than I do, and it really is amazing to watch.
Yeah,
and it's just a testament to the many gifts that God has given you, and how you aim to give it back, not just give it back to Him through service to others by use of your gifts. Mm-hmm. which I try to do the same thing.
Yes.
And
I've tried to rub some of that audio stuff on you.
which I know I have.
You've learned.
Yeah,
You've dabbled with a little bit of Logic now.
I've always been known as like a late bloomer, so my learning curve is a little bit more gradual than the average audio technician, but I do my best at it. So, yeah.
But I think let's go back to what you were saying in the intro about us, how we first met at Guitar Center. I believe it was the drum off. I forgot what year, but it was the theme. It was the white T-shirt with the purple neon that said drum off. It was like the 80s theme.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that was maybe 1 or 2 years before when we actually met at Rich Redmond's clinic.
I think that was a year before.
Yeah,
but we didn't know each other.
No, we just saw each other.
Yeah.
And I remember going after you, and I already thought to myself, I'm beat because this guy is so much better than I am.
Well, I remember it was hard for me to play because you only had a certain amount of time, and they weren't allowing to do a lot of adjustments, and the ride cymbal wasn't where I wanted it and stuff. But
yeah, I remember it being 3 minutes, and when it was like 10 seconds, somebody would come up from behind you and tap you on the shoulder, like, "Hey, you got 10 seconds, and if you go over by even just 1 second, you're disqualified."
Yeah.
So it was pretty strict.
I got asked back to the second round because somebody dropped out, so I was the next one in. But it didn't go anywhere. But I know it was kind of fun. But now looking back on, I'm like, what was the point of that?
Yeah, because it is a competition that does expose upcoming drummers out there,
which was cool. But it's like when you get in a band, your job is to play solid time.
Yeah,
and to play for that artist or whoever you're playing for and make their job happy and make everyone dance the night away.
Yeah,
your job is not to do chops.
Yeah, I know I know the saying doesn't rhyme, but I can't remember who the drummer was. May have been Steve Gadd or maybe Dave Weckl, but he said, "Fills bring the thrills, but grooves pay the bills."
Yep.
So, and that's what we're...
Well, unless you're Phil Collins.
Besides that. But that is what we're hired to do as drummers in the music world. We're meant to keep time, make the song groove.
And then collect check.
After everything before that. Yeah. But yes. So we saw each other at the drum off.
Yeah, the San Mateo Guitar Center drum off.
Yes, but we didn't formally meet. No. But in 2011, I think it was, which was back on the Jason Aldean My Kind of Party tour, Jason Aldean's biggest record, by the way.
Yeah, I was my friend Dennis Gass invited me to the Rich Redmond clinic, and then I hadn't started working for Dennis as a drum tech yet. But I had met Rich before because Rich had come to my high school, Hillsdale High School.
Oh, we came to the high school.
And he did a clinic, and he made me play in front of all my students. I think it was like 1,000 students.
Wow.
And I played Sprangling, ding, 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 jazz, and he was all sweaty. And he's like, try this, feather the bass drum more. Yeah, man, yeah.
His passion is just through the roof.
Yeah.
And
I remember too, I had to go to the band room and get a throne because the throne that they brought didn't go low enough for Rich, so I had to bring a DW one that went low enough.
Yeah, he sits pretty low.
Yeah,
but I think
I was there early because I was getting the drums tuned. And I don't know, how did you get in there early?
Well, I showed up before
the doors were open.
Yeah, I showed up before the doors were open, and I remember Dennis coming out, and he was, there were some folks out there with me who showed up early, and he was just checking folks who had, he was just coming to see if there were any folks outside, and he saw me and a couple of other folks there, and he's like, "Hey, registered folks, what's your name? Matt Gretter? Okay, well, you guys are here early. We're not going to be able to do the clinic yet, but at least you can you can at least grab a seat or anything like that. So I think that was about 15 minutes before the actual clinic started. I recall us actually like formally meeting, like shaking hands after the clinic was done.
I think because I recognized you.
Yeah, I didn't recognize you.
No. You were like, who the heck is this weird guy wanting to shake my hand?
No. No, it wasn't that. I'm not that kind of guy. But
I'm joking.
Yeah. But that was memorable for me because that was the first time that I met Rich.
Yeah.
And I remember after the clinic was done, and also fun little fact, Troy Laquetta, a former drummer of Tesla, was there.
Yeah.
And
that'd be like the time you saw Rich on the smallest drum set you'll ever see.
Ever.
It was a DW Jazz Series green glass.
I remember that. And wasn't the other kit that was set up? Was that
was Dennis's kit? That was
PDP?
a PDP, yeah.
Yeah, the
Dennis
Birch
Gass,
kit.
yeah.
And after the majority of the clinic was done, he then started inviting folks to come up, and I'm the first one that got to raise my hand because first time meeting one of my heroes, I'm not going to pass this opportunity. I know for everybody who has listened to the first episode, I told this story already, but still, it is an amazing story to me that I'll always take to heart, and I really feel that this really shaped my playing and how I identify myself as a drummer.
I think it shaped both of our playing.
Oh, yeah.
That second clinic.
Oh,
well, your first clinic, my second clinic.
Yeah, particularly when I got invited up to play drums with him. What's your natural reflex or thought when you meet one of your heroes? All you want to naturally do is
play chops,
impress.
Yeah.
And as a upcoming drummer, what do you think the only way to impress is? That is to go not completely crazy, but crazier than you would normally do it.
Yeah.
And 99 times out of 100, you fail. And so,
well, I think too, right before he invited us, he was demonstrating what he calls the money beats.
Yeah, and that ties into this little story I'm about to give out here. That I start doing almost like Neil Peart stuff, not to the fullest extent, but a little bit there. Yeah, and so after about 15 or 20 seconds, he taps me on the shoulder and he's like, "Hey, you got really good chops, and that's cool. But I got a challenge for you. Let's take money beat number 1, which for everybody listening, it is a simple AC/DC groove that you hear in almost every single one of the songs. Boom, da, boom, da." And do that for 8 bars, and then just do a tiny little fill at the very end, and then do it again. And okay, that's what I did. I break into that AC/DC groove, and right at the end of that 8th bar, just a something like that.
I think I remember your tiny fill was just the opening of the hi-hat.
That's also a little fill. That was one of them.
Yeah.
But after a few revolutions of that, he then stopped me again, and this is the one thing that he said that really formed and shaped my identity as a drummer. He said, "Just by doing that, you have just played 1,000% better."
Yeah, because I think he grabbed the tambourine, started playing tambourine with you like he does.
I don't remember that. I do remember him doing that when I was in Nashville for his drummer's weekend.
Oh, no, he did. I have the video from that clinic.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. I trust you then.
We need a DVD player for it, but
we'll find some way to convert it to digital. But yeah, that was the first time that we formally met, and then ever since then.
Well, I think.
Then I remember Dennis. He was in a cover band.
He was
Sona.
I first started drum teching for him. That's when I first started. I was still in high school and senior year in high school and going to college, but I started drum teching for him, and he was in this 80s hair metal cover band Hair Strike.
Oh, I remember that.
And he would only let me tune the drums
because you're the one who knew his sound.
Yeah. And then one night there was this band called Sona that opened up before them. I forgot what show. I think it was Great White or something like that. It was over at the Hard Rock. It was at the Rock Hotel in San Jose or something like that. That's no longer there, but the drummer for Sona was leaving, so Dennis took Sona, and I jumped on board with them, became his drum tech for that, and then but me and Matt, I forgot, how did we get back? I think it was your second clinic.
No, it was actually at a show that Sona was doing at Rock Bar in.
Oh, that's what it is. Rock Bar.
Yeah, Rock Bar.
Rock Bar.
And me and my girlfriend, now wife, Brianna, we went to go see that show. And we got there early, and you and Dennis were, I think, just chilling or having dinner before the show. And that was like...
I was probably making sure all the wing nuts were tight and nothing was going to fall apart.
Yeah, that was the real first time that you and I like really dove into conversation.
Yeah.
And like when we really got to know each other as musicians and as people.
Yeah.
And it's ever since that day, it's been a pleasure ever since.
I still remember the first day at your old studio place.
RHL Studio.
I got in. I go, dude, we gotta change your drum setup, man. This is not good for you. You gotta make it easier.
Yeah, because at the time when
you sat high, the rack tom was higher than your snare drum. because I was in and I'm a really big supporter of this Drumeo. There was a video that their founder Jared was doing about how to set up a drum kit, and the first thing that he talked about, and which is the most important thing, is throne height, and he's a tall guy, 6'3", and so I'm 6 foot tall, so 3 inches shorter. But at the time I watched that video, I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm a slightly taller than average guy, so I may want to do a higher seat height. Mm-hmm. So that's where that kit setup was based around at that time. And then after a while, you came in with the hey, experiment with a lower seat height and just lower everything down, just lower everything down. I go. You like Rich Redmond, right? Matt goes, he's my idol. Go, let's try his setup.
And it's been that way ever since.
Yep, Matt even said the lower, and he started to tilt his snare now. Ha ha ha.
But not as much as you. I cannot play your snare drum. I can't even play Rich's snare drum.
But I remember that first day we came in, and I'm like, let's record a song. And back then, that's when you were using the drumless tracks. I think the first one we ever did was, if anybody wants to go back, was When the Lights Come On.
The two of us together.
Yeah, it was there was a Facebook Live video of it too.
Yeah, and that video is also up on my YouTube channel.
That's when you had the headphones and the backward hat and the high pitched snare and.
Yeah, my little niece goes crazy over that video because she's like, Uncle Matt, you on TV?
I remember though, Matt's like, what do you mean I have to EQ the mics?
It's like, because all of that's brand new to me. So all I think is, okay, plug it in,
hit record,
goes into there, hit record, and at least level wise,
and then send it off to the world.
Just send it off.
And then I go, Matt, listen to this now. He goes, oh, there's the bass drum. Oh, there's that.
Well, and also too, before I had the microphones, I had that Tascam linear recorder, which was all I had budget wise to work with.
When I met you, you had microphones by then.
Well, yeah, but the videos before that, I did not.
Yeah.
But either way, so actually that probably led to my lack of knowledge about EQing and things like that, because at the time I was doing videos before you came into the picture, that's all I really knew.
Yeah.
And even though just putting microphones on and just plugging in and playing, even though that did make the drums sound better than the linear recorder, it still didn't expose me to the whole EQing thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I barely did anything.
I think it was easy. I mean, it was fine for you not EQing because you were using a drumless track, so you weren't having to play on top of the drums.
Yeah.
But when you're using a real track, having to play on top of the drummer, sometimes if you're so on tight with it, it might sound like you're flamming with the drummer. So that's why you EQ it a little bit, trying to make it sound similar to the recording.
It sounds similar, but also too, you can EQ it all you want. But if if you're not playing like exactly on top of it, or at least within that tiny little bit of tolerance, you'll be able to hear that flam no matter what EQ you put on it.
I think the video of Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
I think it's flamming a little because you're so on top of it.
Well, yeah, and also too, I'm a human, and we were not playing to any click tracks.
No.
I was just playing to. There's only a couple of times where you could hear it. Otherwise, it's a pretty good performance.
Yeah. But I think that's where our friendship started was
making those videos, and
you took from there, and we just started doing studio stuff. And I don't think I was really working with Dennis anymore. I think he had stopped.
Yeah. And
then you said, "Hey, how about you come on the road with me?" Well, not the road, but like shows.
The regional road within the San Francisco Bay Area. So I haven't been on any.
Great America was the first one, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Which is in Santa Clara County, which was
the first time using the new then new kit, but your big kit.
The black performance kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was a labor of love. I pieced together one piece at a time. Dare I say, custom shell sizes. I say that only because, particularly the rack tom, which is a 13 by 10, that does not come in a standard shell pack. So
you can't even get it anymore.
Yeah. So
you can't even get that wrap anymore either.
No, which is a piano black, straight piano black. But
actually, they have it in the design series now, but. It's limited edition, but you can't get those sizes. But anyhow, back to what you're saying.
Yeah. I think I remember Great America when I was in the cover band Whiskey Pass.
Yeah.
We were, that was the first time that you actually teched for me.
Yeah, I was behind you with your phone. I was starting to clicks for you.
Yeah.
You're like, what do you mean? I'm like, Matt, your job's just to play drums. Let me do this. Like anytime Matt would try to help do the setup, I'm like, no, go away. Just go get me a slice of pizza.
Because I didn't know how to manage a tech at the time.
No, because Matt was just so used to having to do it by himself.
Yeah,
he would let me tune the drums and clean them, but
as far as like electronic setups and all that stuff, I didn't know what to do. So,
I don't think I was
stay
running,
out of the way.
I don't think I was running sound yet though for Whiskey Pass.
No,
that did start at Great America though.
Yeah, because
they don't have good sound.
No, but I remember. They were checking the drums through the mains, and you were with the sound guy with the iPad, and then you say, move this frequency up here, or whatever exactly it was you said, and then I hit the next kick drum hit, and then the guy said, "Oh my God, it sounds exactly like a kick drum."
Yeah. It went from boom to boom.
Really?
All of a sudden, the subs kicked in and everything like that. But we're not here to bash anyone. But
no.
But that's also too like Matt would bring me on board to tech drums. He goes, "Hey, my drum tech also is a fantastic audio engineer and live sound engineer."
Yeah, and I recommended you to anything that I could because you and I were both on the same page about what we want to do with our music careers here, what you aspire to be, and I wanted to help that in any way I could.
Yeah.
And
I brought you on board too. I think.
Yeah.
I was in my jazz band. I had a jazz band too. This is after Punk Days, long after. I was in a jazz band called Ernest East and SF Rainfall, and I was coming home from a gig, and I just felt. I think I was dehydrated or something, and I just felt so sick. And I think I called you. It was like, or texted you like 2 a.m. or something. And I said, "Hey, I need you to sub for me at church."
Yeah. That I will never forget that. That was December, maybe November.
This was for the church, CPC Church, Central Peninsula Church,
Foster City,
with Brandon Passion, worship leader.
Another person who I have on my radar for our show. Show.
I couldn't believe you texted me back. I'm like, he's up at 3 a.m.
No. I remember I had a gig that night as well, and I got done. I get home, and I specifically remember it more towards midnight.
Oh, maybe it was midnight.
Yeah.
Did I send you the songs?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
So I get all ready for bed, and I'm literally about maybe 30 seconds away from passing out. and then all of a sudden, ding, then
A long text message.
long text message, but okay, I see it's Drue, and you had a show, and you said, hey, I'm really sick, I can't do my church performance in the morning, can you cover for me? And without even hesitating, I said, yes, I'll do it.
Well, let's see. This is 12 in the morning, and you had to be there. What was it? The call time for Fox when we were back at the Fox Theater? It was like 6.
I think it was 5:30.
5:30. Oh, for loaded.
I think so.
Yeah. So, and I texted our worship leader. I said, hey, I'm sick. Don't worry. I got a sub. He's coming in.
Yeah. So you said, and I asked you, like, I don't know what to do. What's the layout? And then you told me, okay, these are.
Well, I told you. I said you have to set the drums up from scratch because they're in the case.
Well, that part I understood, but
yeah.
But
had you never played worship music, CCM.
Yeah, and even before you texted me, just as a quick little backdrop, I was aware of Christian music, and I've been a firm believer ever since birth, but I never really had an interest in playing it because it was all rock and country rock music, Jason Aldean obsessed and all that stuff, all that type of music, but after you texted me that, and you sent the songs, and I stayed up for another hour and a half. I wrote all of them out, and I'm pretty bad about doing note for note charting, so I just kind of break it down into
chicken right.
Yeah, so just tiny little sections, and just make key notes where need be, and then so I get done with that. Closer to around 2:30 or 3, get about an hour and a half sleep. Then I drive down to Redwood City, which was where CPC had their.
Never played with this band at all or anything.
Don't.
I said bring your in-ears.
Just bring your in-ears, whatever it is you have.
Also, we played with click and track, and you never played with click and track before.
Never. So all of this is brand new. I'm a fish out of water. The only familiarity that I have is there's a drum kit.
Yep.
And the fact that I did meet Brandon Passion before that.
Yeah.
But it was only once.
Yeah.
So I'm a fish out of water, but I get there at around 5. So I beat Brandon there. And so then so we get to the back door, which is where the loading is, and then I walk in.
The big case.
And the big case, but even before that, I remember turning a corner, and there's Brandon, and he and I make eye contact, and I just saw his eyes light up, and he's like, "Oh my God, Matt Gretter's here!" And I was like, "Oh, okay." Now there's a little bit of pressure now because now he's expecting.
Well, I texted him, said, "Don't worry, I got a good friend, my friend Matt Gretter. He's gonna be there." I gave him all the songs. I told him everything. We're all good.
Yeah, and we
because a lot of drummers will just say, "Hey, I'm sick. I'm not coming."
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's okay. In weeks, but this was literally the night before. So
yeah, you can't cancel.
This wasn't even 24 hours notice.
Yeah, so sometimes in that situation, you have to make something happen. You cannot cancel. Either you're going to get a sub that can fill it in at the last minute, who's available and is going to make it happen, or you have to make a modification to make something work. But
or you just got to be there.
Yeah, just got to be there. And so, okay. There's the computer with the tracks on it and everything, and it's like
here's your Aviom, how you do your mix. These are where everything is.
All right, and so all you need to do is just everything's all lined up and everything. You don't need to really trigger anything. All you need to do is just select the song and go.
The good thing is, because we had known each other so long, I taught you how to mic drums properly, so you knew how to mic the drums at least.
Yeah, at least positioning. I knew how to with the
angles.
Angles.
4 or 3 finger, yeah. It's a matter of preference.
But. Yeah, and so we do that service, and it went off without a hitch, and it just so happened that after that, Brandon said, "I want you back." And
so we would switch off.
Yeah, and I really want that to once again be more of a regular thing where you and I switch off like every other week. Hopefully that'll be able to happen. But that's how it all started, to the point where
we are now.
And yeah, to where we are now. But
Yeah.
but also that led to, okay, that was the very first thing related to CPC for me.
Uh-huh. Wait,
and to the point where
I think I brought you to well, it's called Waypoint now, but I think I brought you to FPCSM before. I think you came.
maybe after.
Did you play it? Did you ever play at CPC South with the electronic drums?
No.
No? Okay.
But what I was saying though is this is just a testament to like how one little thing can steer can like really alter a path,
Yeah.
whether good or bad. But in this case, it's really good that you asked me to fill in for you as an emergency, to the point where Brandon married my wife and I
Yeah.
4 years later. And if I obviously believe that my wife and I would have gotten married no matter what, but it would not have happened the way that it did if you did not ask me to fill in for you that night. I firmly believe that it obviously getting married would have happened, but it would not have happened the way it did if you did not ask me to fill in that day. And for that, I thank you so much.
No problem.
A testament to
I didn't plan it that way, but
well, neither did
don't think any of us,
None of us planned it that way.
But God works in strange ways.
I was going to say that. And that was a part of his plan for whatever reason. And the only reason is what he knows, that life can change in a heartbeat. And it really, that was a profound thing and a lot of profound things really happened.
Well,
I
have to thank you, because where I am now with my career, with being with Sophia Claire as her drummer.
Yeah.
Where she's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and my career is woo.
Yeah.
But
to the point where I think you said and forgive me if I'm stepping on confidential stuff. You made this known to me privately, at least, but that you guys are actually going on at least a small tour of the northwestern states.
Well, we have one show. We're playing opening again for Clint Black in Long Beach.
Oh,
and
yes.
Then we're going up to Washington State for a casino gig. All the current shows right now are on her website, sophiaclairemusic.com.
Yeah, and just a quick recap about her. She is absolutely amazing. I think if I remember counting correctly, she has about maybe 5 or maybe 6 singles that have been released over a period of maybe 5.
Let me look it up.
Okay. Oh, fact checking live. We like it. But either way.
Bring it back.
But yeah, as said before, Sophia is absolutely amazing. I really believe that she is destined for greatness in the music industry. And once again, I've got you on my radar for the show. Hopefully we can make it happen, Sophia, if you're listening. And
She's got 4.
She's got 4?
But 5 is coming out soon.
Okay.
That's
Perfect.
all I'm saying.
Sounds good. Yeah, I remember because...
But you brought me on board with Sophia because, like, I think I was running sound. You need me to do sound for... Was it the outdoor one or for the bar one we did? The one at the office?
That had to have been...
The office.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. That was definitely inside.
Yeah.
And really quick, everything leading up to that,
yeah.
I get a Facebook message from a guy named Johnny Bayless, who I had never heard of at the time, and he said, "Hey, your name has come up in a couple of referrals, and we're starting a new project, and the person is Sophia Claire. Would you like to come on down for a jam session?" I'm like, sure. And so we do that jam session / rehearsal, which is what it really turned out to be, and she kept wanting me back, and it was an amazing experience and something that I still treasure to this day. The shows that I played, and it was at a very it happened at a very critical time for me because not only am I a drummer and
You
professional
weren't married
musician.
yet, were you?
No, but I was getting married.
Yeah.
But then also on top of that, I had to change day careers.
Yeah.
So going from a auto technician to a truck driver. So it's not a situation where you're changing jobs within the same industry.
Yeah.
You're changing careers, and so that's a lot of uncharted water that you don't know what is coming your way, and so I consequently had to leave room for unexpected, maybe last minute things that could happen that I need to take care of and all that. And it was from a musician standpoint, it was the hardest thing that I had to do was to give up a gig, but I knew that this was also an opportunity that you have been working for so long, and I wanted you to have the best opportunity that you
As
could.
you always call it, I've always been the behind the scenes guy only.
Yeah, because you were amazing at teching. You're an incredible sound guy and incredible drummer as well. And you did have your projects where you were the guy, but they weren't opportunities that were really going to.
It was mainly just church.
Yeah, they weren't opportunities that were going to like really advance your career, and so it did come at my expense, but I am so happy now that you have the opportunity that you have been looking for so many years, and it's really it is an amazing thing to watch. And I know you and I had talked about it.
It is because like I just think like if I could tell my young self that was struggling in school and saying no, he can't be in this band, he can't read, he's not going to get anywhere because he can't read, and just look where I am now.
Yeah, it just goes to show, no matter what people say, no matter what their opinions are, or whatever limitations that we may have as people, as long as we put our mind and our heart and soul into what we believe in, we can make anything happen.
Yeah.
And I think that ties into what God's plan for us has been, even at the time that we were born, which is obviously we don't know what his plan is, but when we do discover, at the very least, the gifts that he gave us, everything that had been said before, like no, you can't do this because of that, or blah blah blah, all of that goes out the window.
Yeah.
When you find your purpose here on earth, you will make it happen one way or another. How exactly, you don't exactly know, but you know it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, you just got to wait for that phone call.
Yeah, and so...
Or you got to wait for that friendship, or just have a lot of friends.
Just have a lot of friends, but also...
the coolest thing for me was our first show headlining at Club Fox in River City. Sophia Claire was headlining. And then I found out you were in the opening band, and we were both on the bill.
Yeah, I was...
you were playing cajon, sadly, but...
Yeah, I wish it was a full kit setup, but...
It was cool because you and me, we've grown up going to shows there. Like with Sona...
Yeah, and I did wish that I was playing a full drum setup, that it could have been a plugged in type show, at least for the bill that I was a part of, that opening band, Jose Canchola, another person who I have on my radar here. But it was still an amazing experience to be on on that stage, and to be able to share that together.
Yeah, was awesome.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing, and something that I never take for granted. And I really hope that it can happen again.
Yeah,
one of these days. So really, in a nutshell, that is pretty much our journey, and everything that you had gone through, how you got started, your influences, where you are today. And so for those who may be wondering, what are your plans coming up in the brand new year of 2025? Where do you see things going? And just generally what do you plan on making happening in the new year?
Well, I have a feeling this year it's gonna be busy with Sophia because it's still, pretty much happening. Happy New Year! All right, hit the road.
Is your
It's
first
not
show?
it's not till February, but still, it's like.
Yeah.
But to get asked again to open for Clint Black is pretty cool because we got the first time we opened for him was at Mount Winery, so we got asked again to open for him.
Yeah, and especially Clint Black, who's
Yeah.
a really big name.
Yeah,
That is huge.
yeah. And Sophia's new songs coming out too in the new year.
Yeah, I think just really quickly, I remember when I was in the band, my favorite song that we played of hers was "Always Almost Over You." That's a very rockin' tune.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So I really love that.
Well,
song.
you're gonna like this one that's coming out.
Oh, I can't wait
It's
to hear
rocking.
it. I can't wait to hear it, and we can't wait to hear it, right, guys? So,
It'll be on all stream platforms.
perfect.
Sophia Claire Music.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Drew, for coming on.
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate it. And
See, there's nothing wrong. Everything worked. We had that one little hiccup with the power cable, but the streams kept going.
stream kept going, and figuring it all out. Repetition is key.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you for having me, Matt.
You are more than welcome, and you are welcome back at any time.
Well, I
So-
am your neighbor.
That is true. You're only like 2.5 blocks away. So, yes, absolutely. Anytime, you are welcome here.
Cue the music.
So, everybody, thank you. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in here, and we are looking forward to many more episodes and many more interviews with Bay Area musicians all around the region. And we will see you next time on the Bay Area Musicians Podcast.
Bye-bye.
See you, everybody.